is Dana Newman. All my life, everyone told me I was beautiful, but that's not what the mirror told me. Men never treated me like the princess that everyone told me I was. So I spent everything I had on one operation after another to fix what was never wrong. One night, I was so desperate I broke into the clinic and tried to fix everything that was wrong myself. Instead of looking better, the damage left me blind in one eye. I ran a bath, I took a knife, and I slit myself apart. And as the water turned red, I was dead. Hi fellow maker fiends and welcome to 13 Days of Horror. Today I'm going to do this tutorial, which is Dana Newman, who is the angry princess in one of my favourite films, The 13 Ghosts. This is an animated or drawn picture, and this is where I took my inspiration from. It actually has the wounds in exactly the same place, and I am going to give it a go. So here's that picture next to me. I think I did a pretty good job for a first attempt. I've never used any of these special effects things before, but I thought, why not try it out now? And I didn't want to do it before. I didn't want it to be super practiced. I just wanted to sit down and do it. So this is the snazaroo wax. It's actually really, really hard in the tub, but once you scoop it out with your spatula and warm it between your hands, it becomes quite soft, and it becomes even softer again on the skin when it warms up. So I'm just smoothing the edges of the wax down. I didn't want to use spirit gum to fix the wax because my skin is a little bit broken out at the moment. I've just changed my diet recently in the last 6 weeks, and I always have a little bit of an effect on my skin when I do that. So that's what it is. I really apologise. I know it doesn't look very nice, but I didn't want to use a strong adhesive, so I just actually moulded the wax into the skin using the spatula that was provided in the special effects makeup kit that I got from snazaroo. It was actually quite cheap because I bought mine in around February of this year. I would definitely recommend, if you want to do special makeup for Halloween and you want to pick up blood and things like that, that you pick it up before the Halloween period, because you can actually pick up some really good bargains on eBay during that time in the run up to Halloween. I think this was around £8.99 for this kit. I got full-size wax, the spatula, a sponge, some cake blood, a book, and quite a few other little bits and pieces in there. It was a really good value. So now I've moved on and I'm putting the rest of the wax down. She has a scar that runs diagonally across the face. There's a tiny little break in the scar on the bridge of the nose where she hasn't cut like in a straight line, like as if she hasn't cut one line. There's a little break. So I have tried to stay pretty close to that. And then I'm just putting on more wax to create the long wound, because it is like right across the whole of her face. So I'm just rolling it between my hands here and warming it up. And then I just added it into the other piece of wax. And although it doesn't stick too well at first, if you warm it with your fingers and press it in with the spatula, the wax actually stayed on really well. And yeah, it didn't fall off. Not off my face anyway. The only thing that was quite awkward here was working with the wax, and that was kind of like smoothing it into the skin with the spatula, particularly on the upper part of the wound. It was just a little bit awkward to kind of turn your hand and how to get the right angle. But it was all a case of just practicing and just messing about, really. So as you can see, it smooths out quite nicely. And it just creates that nice sort of scarred sort of ridge on your face, which is what I want. Because she's dead, the wound isn't like wide open, like spurting blood. It's actually just quite raised, and it's just, it's just got blood on it. The picture itself and what I've chosen to do is a little gorier than what it looks like in the film. But I just wanted it to have a little bit more drama to it. I also added the scars onto the neck. So again, just using the wax and just using the spatula just to smooth the edges. And yeah, that took a bit of a lengthy process to get that one on, so I didn't film all of that. But I put the straight scar on one side, and then on the other side of the neck she's got 2 diagonal scars, and I've also placed those. Moving on, I'm putting on snazaroo face paint. This is in complexion pink and pale grey. I mixed them together and I'm applying them with a number 7 concealer brush. You want to use sponges and brushes that you don't mind if they get damaged or ruined, because with special effects makeup and face paint, they're not the best thing for your expensive brushes. I also used a bath sponge here, just a little bit cut off, and I just stippled that across my face, my neck, my shoulders and my arm, because I wanted to do the promo video for the beginning and I needed to have some pale skin on my arm so that it didn't look glaringly strange and obvious, because my face would be one colour, my arm would be another. But this face paint's really nice, it went on really well. Using another number 7 concealer brush, I am now applying the Snazaroo Cake Blood. I love this stuff. I would literally, pardon the pun, cake myself in it. I'd love to do my whole face in this. I don't know why. As soon as you add the water to this, it just comes to life and it looks so amazing and so real. I basically just wanted to put this on the wound, smudge it around the wound a little bit, where when she's cut it, she's bled. And yeah, it looks really good. It's really an authentic blood colour. And I'm just using the tip of the brush to put it onto the scar area. As you can see, there's a little gap there between the scar on the bottom of the face and across the forehead. And then I went on to add it to the neck. Now this piece of wax persistently fell off. I couldn't get it to stick, so I actually just decided just to put the cake blood on there and just create a wound. It actually looked okay. And then I applied the cake blood to the other wounds on the other side of my neck. And yeah, I mean, they looked really quite good. They looked like sort of deeply cut skin, quite open, and just, yeah, I like the neck wounds. I thought they looked really good. Now moving on, I used the stipple sponge, and I used colours from the Cryle Bruise and Burn Wheels, and I used the deep burgundy colour here just to put a little bit of sort of definition and a little bit of colour around the wounds. It looks really quite effective, to be honest. Really like this sponge. And this deep burgundy is kind of like older blood. So this is where she's first cut the wounds open. She's had a little bit of splash on the face and then it's dried. And then I added like a graze sort of wound on the side of the face. And I used 2 colours for that. I used the dark red and the brighter red. I just used 2 different corners of the sponge there. And then I also used the stippling sponge on the actual wounds as well and around the wounds. And again, that just like kind of added dimension, and I thought it looked really good. Really kind of finished it off. Then I added blood. I love this part. I'm ahead of myself. Now this is the blood. Yeah, using just a cheap makeup sponge, I added some snazaroo blood. This is the dark gel blood. It's really nice and thick, a lot thicker than I was expecting. It came out in quite a glob. I was quite pleased because I thought I should have got the fresh scratch from Ben Nye, but this is actually really thick and it did the job. It just looks like fresh wound, fresh blood on the top of the wound, and it looked really effective. It glistened and it just made the wound look just so much more real and alive. Next, I used the HD Brows Kit. I used the darkest colour in there. Because I had no brows, because I'd painted over them, I was able to create the same sort of thin, dark brow that she has in the movie. And that's with the darkest colour. It's a really dark chocolate brown. Then moving on, I'm using a number 7 eyeshadow brush and I'm applying the black out of the Sleek Ultra Matte Dark palette. Love this palette. Used it a couple of times last year for special effects, sort of bruising and contouring when I did the zombie sort of dead girl looks last year. Really like this palette for this kind of makeup because it's matte. You can pretty much do what you want with it. It hasn't got a sheen to it, so it doesn't look unnatural. Doesn't look like it couldn't be a wound. So I thought it worked out really well. And it's just kind of just a very smudged eye look. She's been sat in the steamy bathroom cutting wounds into herself, so the eye makeup has just gone all smudgy. So I really like this, and I thought this is where the look really started to come together and really started to look quite finished. I did forget to put on my lashes and mascara. I'm really sorry about that. I just got totally carried away with everything else that was going on and I forgot that part. But I will remember to do that in the rest of the looks that I have planned for this week. So I'm just making sure all the flesh colour, all the bare skin is covered there. And then I'm using the Zero liner from Urban Decay and I'm just placing that in the waterline so that there's no sort of pink or red skin showing. Next, I'm adding a lipstick that I won in a giveaway from Vinny, Littlemissstylegurus. This is a Calvin Klein lipstick. It's a really nice sort of red. And what I'm going to do with this now is smudge it around the lips, just as in the photo. I didn't want to go right across the face here, so I just kept it just around the lips. And I didn't do it like in a round circle. I didn't want it to look like that. I kind of just pulled it out at different angles. Otherwise, I thought it might look a little bit sort of clownish if it was just like a circle around the lips. I then added a little bit of the rania blood, which is also in a dark colour, but it's a little bit lighter because it's runny. I just put that around the lip area. And then taking a dropper that I got from the chemist for around, I think it was about 69p from Boots. This is just an ear dropper that you can add oils into your ears with. And I just added the blood there. Sorry you can't quite see, but I'm just literally dripping some of the rania blood on the edge of the wound. So as you can see, it just runs down a little bit. Just adding a few little bits of touch up with the blood here. Rather than the cream, just adding some actual runny blood. And then I actually decided to add the MUA lipstick that I also got in the giveaway from Vinny. This is a lovely dark red. And this just made the lipstick look like it was freshly applied. And it just made it look a bit more vibrant. And that was it, basically. I love how it turned out. And then once you take the hair down, it really just gives you the whole finished effect. I just wet my hair because her hair's wet. And then I just did the paint around my hairline and touched up any areas that needed it. And that's it, guys. Really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Leave comments below. This is my first attempt, so please be kind. I really like how it turned out, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to love you and leave you, and keep screaming. Bye.